Now, of course, in the last video I told you guys that I went to Mayhem Fest 2011 and also offered a comprehensive review of it. If you haven't seen that video, after you're finished watching this one, you should zoom over to that one and watch it. But I was surprised I had a lot of you guys that recommended that I review something that I ended up picking up while at the show. And this is something that's not necessarily all of that new, so I figured what the hell. I'm still waiting on a couple of things to come out this coming Tuesday, so let's give it a go. Murder the Mountains by Red Fang. Now, Red Fang, of course, was the sleeper band from Mayhem Fest this past Friday that I told you guys about. It was the second band that I saw, and almost instantly it's how I could tell that it was going to be a pretty good day. Red Fang was a band that I had never really crossed any sort of hairs with, or crossed paths with, should I say, up until Mayhem Fest this past Friday, and, well, I must say that I was impressed with their set. But does it translate from live back to the studio? And Murder the Mountains actually responded to me with a resounding yes. This is 10 tracks of stoner / sludge metal that you could kind of perhaps throw on the same lines as a Baroness or a Mastodon, which are two names that are definitely good for my radar because, let's face it, both of those two bands have received a lot of circulation on the coverkillernation front. Mastodon for a number of years, Baroness in recent memory. But it also reminds me a little bit of a lesser-known band by the name of Klone, which I discovered at the toward the end of 2010, that has gotten a lot of spins here in 2011. The combination of all of these three bands creates not so much too unique of a style, however, it's the execution on this album that really keeps me enthralled and entertained throughout the 10 tracks. There's enough of a diversity in their sound, whether they do something that's a little bit more low-key or they're rocking out, that really just kind of makes this a fun little listen. It's a really fun affair. It's something that I figured that I would maybe enjoy live, but perhaps the studio album wouldn't translate, or I would enjoy the studio album more and actually find that their live show to be a little bit weak or something like that. But no, I actually, all things considered, I like both of them pretty much on an even level right now. There are a couple of tracks on here that I really enjoy, such as Wires or The Undertow, things that are a little bit more dialed back a little bit. While the rocky tracks, the more rock and roll tracks are also exceptional. These two songs, where it has some elements of a little bit of, some people would call it a drone, but it's really just a repetition of a riff with a lot of massive atmosphere behind it. Those are things that I really enjoy a lot about bands in this particular side of the metal universe. Not so much because I'm a huge Drone fan, because, well, Drone and I have a kind of an on and off relationship where I really have to be in the right mode, either that or have had to have had the experience and exposure to the right elements in order for me to really enjoy them. Now, that's not necessarily the case with Red Fang, because these two tracks do not incorporate a lot of drone, but they do incorporate that idea of slight repetition with that building atmosphere, which creates a really sonic experience, one that's very easy on the ears, but at the same time also is very crushing. It's something that really takes you on a ride, even though the ride doesn't seem to be going in too many different and diverse directions. It really doesn't have to. It's really just that atmosphere that is created that causes the ride to be so enjoyable. Now, this is obviously a band that is more than willing to go with the whole beer, babes, bitches, weed, drugs, sex, rock and roll type of philosophy, and that's also something that is not all that uncommon. However, this is something that Red Fang is just saying, hey, we're having fun with this. Not to mention, whenever you went to their tent, if you've been to Mayhem Fest so far this year, you see that they have Red Fang brew, or some sort of Red Fang concoction, some sort of drink that I'm sure is very alcoholic and also inhibits you to want to partake in other illicit substances as well, which is fantastic, fantastic news. This is a band that I like to call a fun project. This is one of those groups that whenever you listen to it, if you don't have a smile on your face, it will put one there. If it doesn't make you rock out for the duration of time in which it is on, then there's something physically or mentally wrong with you. This is just a lot of fun. This is one of those records where I will throw this on again and again and again. There will be endless replay value simply because, simply stated, this is a band that doesn't take themselves overly seriously. They're a lighthearted bunch, and the music itself is very well constructed and very well represented. So overall, fantastic experience. Now this is a Relapse band, and well, let's face it, Relapse has been putting out some seriously good shit lately. Relapse also has just released the Dying Fetus History Repeats EP. If you didn't see the review for that, you should also check that out. And, well, let's face it, they've had a good year. They've had a history of going for things that are a little bit, you know, strange and out there, that the typical apropos metal fan may not go after, but in reality, they should take the leap. They should take that experimental leap and give these bands a shot, because they have a lot to offer for the metal community. Thank you guys very much. Don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and I will talk to you guys later with a couple more album reviews and a couple of other interesting videos for you guys this week, so definitely stay tuned to the Cover Killer Nation channel. And if you guys aren't members of the Cover Killer Nation yet, hit that subscribe button, because you're going to want to be a part of this nation. It's one of the fastest growing nations here on YouTube. Take care, and horns up to Red Fang. God damn.